Hey everyone, what's going on? Dave Kettner here with a special training that actually we did a few weeks ago with our Marketplace Mastery, our elite coaching group. And of course, they got this information first because, well, they pay us for coaching. This is all about the new Etsy software that Chris Meets has come out with. And as you're seeing this, maybe you already heard about it because I've been putting some videos about it. If you haven't, you're in time because this is a special deal that we have going right now because we have a beta test group that can give you not only the 7-day trial that comes normally when you're trying this with my link, but also 30 extra days as a beta tester. So what I want you to do is watch this video training with Chris Meets. We had him on as a guest. We asked him a lot of questions. He went through how to use the software, how to connect it to Printify and other ones that are going to be coming eventually. We're going to have other suppliers as well for POD. He's going to show you how to use the mirror imaging with Printify to make it easy for you. He's going to show you how to use a tag generator, which actually goes through and researches the tags of the top 100 listings for your main keyword. And one of my favorite things is the country, be able to use country suppliers. So when you actually have someone internationally that wants to order your product, it can reroute to a supplier that is in their country, therefore they don't have to pay big shipping and they can get it quick. It's a game changer. It'll be a way that you can get so many more orders than other people you're competing against with. So check it out, and down below in this description you'll see the link. So at any time you can go down there and click on it to try his software. It's a 7-day trial, and if you're in time, like I said, there's a coupon code to give you 30 days an additional free to try this out. So you can get 37 days to try this out without even putting a credit card in. So anyway, use my link in the description. Enjoy it. I'll catch you at the end as I close up after this training. So enjoy this training. We have Chris Meets here, and Chris Meets is basically the brains behind the operation of Anywhere POD that I showed last week. So if you guys missed the call last week, I shared the software he had put together, and I'm not going to go over it again right now because he's going to go over a bunch of those things today. He's going to tell us all about this new software. So just so you guys know, he hasn't released this anywhere yet. He just did it with us, and we're taking advantage of being some beta testers. And so he's going to give us anyone that signs up gets a 7-day trial with his software. But in addition to that, he gave us a code to get a whole free 30 days on top of that. So I shared that last week. We'll put the codes and the links in here in a minute for you guys. But get in there and play around with it. I know and Chris, I'm looking forward to you going over some stuff today, especially the country stuff, because I still hadn't got that to work, but we'll figure it out today. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it works on your end, what's working now, the enhancements that Chris already made. By the way, what we talked about on the call last week, Jody and I were going through something. Oh, it'd be nice if we had this. It'd be nice if we had this. Chris already added those. He already fixed the 3 things that we had asked him for. So as beta testers and getting this 30 days free in addition to those 7 days you're getting, all he asks is, as you guys have recommendations, you see bugs, things that need to be fixed, that sort of thing, just communicate directly to him, and we'll give you his direct support email for Anywhere POD as well. So Chris, like I said, he's the brains of the operation, software genius. He has done lots of things before in the past, but this is the first time now that he's stepping out doing this on his own. And I'm already impressed with what he's already done. So I'm just going to pass it over to you, Chris, and please tell us all about the software, what you've been working on, and what we have access to.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks. Thanks for the time, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. First of all, I want to say I appreciate, all you guys here and any feedback you're willing to give. I'm wanting to build this into something that I think is really going to benefit everybody. And to do that, getting as much feedback as possible, even if you look at it and you think, oh, that's kind of wonky over here, I've got a little issue with this, like that's kind of information that I want, not just the good stuff. So don't worry about, hurting my feelings or anything like that. It's the feedback is really what I'm looking for. So I appreciate anybody that can take some time and get in there and take a look at things and give me your opinion and kind of see how the software works. And hopefully we can develop this into something that is really beneficial and helps everybody out. There we go. Let me share my screen. All right, great. So this is Anywhere POD. I know Dave kind of covered it last week, so I'll just try to run through a couple of the bigger pieces here. And if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to jump in and let me know or interrupt me, or put them in the chat. We can answer them at the end too, whatever works for you. So right now, what we have in here, it connects with Printify and Etsy. So right now our main connection is Printify just because of the size of their catalog. So we have their entire product catalog available in here. I do plan to add additional suppliers. I really want to get all of the major suppliers in here. One of the big goals and benefits that I see to having a system like this is being able to essentially supplier proof your entire print on demand store. So whereas right now, if you're selling on Printify or another supplier and they're shut down like Custom Cat was for a month because of COVID, or they go out of business, or they're out of stock, or they decided to double their prices, to move all the products in your store over to another supplier is a real pain in the you-know-what. So as I add more suppliers in here, one of the key things you're going to be able to do is if you want to move your products to another supplier, you would essentially be able to do that with a click of a button. So if you have mugs that are being fulfilled by District Photo, you can say, oh, hey, they're out of stock. Let's move this mug over to this supplier. And then it will pop up and say, hey, it looks like you've got, 500 other mugs that are being fulfilled by District Photo. Do you want to move those as well? You hit yes. And then every order that comes in after that is just automatically moved to the new supplier. Same thing with open orders. If you've got open orders, when you do that process, say, hey, we see you've got, 100 open orders with this supplier too. Do you want to try to move, do you want to move those over to your new supplier? So you'd be able to move all those orders over all just with a click of a button, essentially.
That would have been,
as we add more suppliers,
that would have been amazing, Chris, when we had the issues with Icon Econ last year, right? So I'm curious, what is the time frame on that?
That'll be in as soon as I add more suppliers. So I'm kind of researching a few other suppliers to see who's going to kind of be the best fit there, and if I'm going to try to do their entire catalog or start with mugs or things of that nature. So I'm kind of figuring out who that next supplier is going to be. Part of that depends on how the kind of marketing efforts go in the coming weeks and how many users I get to sign up. It's kind of chicken the egg type of thing. The more customers I have sign up, the less time I have to spend marketing, the more time I can spend putting in additional suppliers and things like that. So kind of playing it by ear right now and seeing where things go. But so right now, like I said, Printify and Etsy, when you first come in here, they'll have connect buttons here. It pretty well walks you through the process. If you guys ever have any questions or anything, there's a little contact us down here at the bottom. I also have training videos on my YouTube channel, which I can share with you guys that kind of walks you through these individual pieces as well. So coming into the product catalog here, it's pretty standard from what you're probably used to seeing on Printify when you're going in to build products as it is. You go through, select your product, find the supplier you want, go in to start designing. So we have our artwork builder in here that gives you several more options that you don't get just by going through Printify. So let me select product. So one of the things that we did is if you're building coffee mugs, by default, we're automatically mirroring your image on both sides of the mug. So you don't have to hit, duplicate and then try to drag it over and get it to position right. So kind of one benefit that we have added in here. We also have the ability to do personalization in here. So if you want to turn personalization on your store, like Dave was talking about with Father's Day and graduation coming up, if you have, a design that lends itself well where they could put the student's name on it or, their dad's name on it, or maybe the names of, the kids on the mug for Father's Day, you can do that inside of here. So what we can do over here is add additional layers, and you can see it put this text field on here. And so you can just put in whatever you want here as a placeholder. Position that here down at the bottom. And then so you can set your, font color, your different font types, all that type of stuff. You can do kind of the curved or arc text inside of here. And then set that to personalized if you want the customer to be able to enter their information there. You can also set the font size. So if you leave it as dynamic, the size of the font will automatically shrink to fit inside of the kind of predefined box that you have there. So if they have a really long name, it can shrink down the name. Or if you want to specify a specific font size and character limit, you can do that here as well. So trying to give you all the personalization options you can. One of the unique things with this is that we're integrated with Etsy's personalization feature. So on a listing, actually, let me just see if I can pull one up here. I'll show you guys on an Etsy listing. So this is a product, that same image that I already have created here. If we view this over on Etsy, you'll see here there is a personalization feature. There we go, personalization. So you can toggle that on. And here you can set basically instructions for the customer, enter your name that'll be displayed on the mug, that type of thing. And then what we will actually do is whatever name that customer enters, we'll automatically grab that on the order, replace that in the field that you essentially pre-specified here, and automatically build that print-ready artwork for you. So you don't have to delay any of your other orders or anything like that to be able to do personalization. You don't even have to do any kind of manual adjustment on each order. It's essentially on autopilot and just going to fulfill those orders and be able to push those through automatically for you.
So Chris, I'm just going to kind of stop you there for a minute. The personalization,
Yep.
That's amazing. The Printify, we always had to upload an image, but do the image ourselves. Do you have to, so is there like a way to hold it though, so we can make sure we approve it before, if a customer makes a mistake? Or sometimes there's, we've had issues before in the past where there's like a apostrophe or some kind of punctuation that messes it up.
Yep, absolutely. So right here, after you create the order, there's a little toggle here at the top to have it auto fulfilled or not. So if that's set to yes, if the system believes it can auto fulfill it, it will. So it'll try to catch things that it can. So if you put in, Etsy only has one field that you can enter the personalization. So if you have a product with multiple personalization fields, that's going to automatically go on hold because we're not going to try to split out and interpret what the customer entered. If the customer enters a big long sentence, I think I have it set to 3 or 4 words. So if instead of putting in just Chris, they put in, please put Chris on the mug for me. Thank you for your help. We'll automatically put it on hold so that you're able to adjust that before it goes into production. And it's real simple. I don't think I have any open orders to be able to show you right now, but it's real simple to be able to do that. You can either you have the option if you want to just go in and edit the text, or when that order is on hold, you can really easily just upload a new piece of art if you need to for it as well. So we try to give you as much flexibility on kind of that ordering side of it as well.
Thanks, Chris. I'm gonna stop you for a second. Just Jody, on that one feature alone, how much time did that save you last Christmas?
Christmas, as I've told everyone, I was working like 12 hours a day. Sometimes I was hitting $2,000 in the day in sales. So it was insane, mostly because we were used to being able to, with Icon Ecom on the mugs, being able to, like this, it automatically go through, whereas Printify, I had to go in, recreate the design, then duplicate the listing, put it in, and then do it. It takes forever. So this would
from the way that I view it, it's about making work smarter, not harder. So you can process more orders, have an easier time of doing your orders, which is making life easier. So, for example, with personalization, and it's just having that extra. It's a bit like having a little VA sat there doing various bits.
One other question on designing. I have mugs that aren't mirror image. Is that going to?
No. So there's a checkbox here at the top. You just uncheck that, and it's going to give you your full wrap design, just like when you design on Printify. So you can still do personalization and everything in here, just like you would do with your.
Can you show us like the mock-ups? Because you put the stuff down and then you back.
Yeah, let me just go to one here. Any of these will work.
Yeah, I wanted to see what it would look like.
Mug here I created.
Or whatever.
Yeah, so these are the same mock-ups that you get from Printify. So these are all of Printify's mock-ups that are loaded in here. So you still get the same mock-ups that you would as if you built the product inside of, and before you push it over, you can select which ones you want. You know, that one, when it's not a full wrap mug, you probably wouldn't want that. You can set what your primary image is. So that's the first image that shows up on your Etsy listing. You can control that inside.
In terms of the past products, Chris, that I created in Icon Ecom on their dashboard there, can I upload those through your system? Because even yet today, or is that something I need to be concerned about if I want to? Because right now what I do is when I get an order in Printify, use that as an example, and it was originally created in Icon, I just do those kind of maniacally one at a time as I need them versus spending all the time of recreating them in Printify. So my question is, is this a good time, or can I actually integrate those in through your system? The ones that are in Icon still.
Yes, so you can certainly move those over. The easiest way right now to do that would be to just come in here and create the product. And then if you come here to, let me go to another product that I don't already have linked to Etsy. You can come in here to set Etsy listing, and all you need to do is copy the Etsy listing ID into this field, and then that will link it where then you can update the SKUs like I was showing you a minute ago.
Okay, that was the Etsy listing number, though. That wasn't the SKU, what you just did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the Etsy listing number. So if you go, when you're editing a listing in Etsy, see here at the top, it's got this number here at the end. That's the listing ID that is needed in that field. And then that will move it over.
Okay. And then the rest I have to do the same, I guess, basically. In terms of setting.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That would be the easiest way to do it right now. I would love to be able to kind of automate that move over. But for right now, that's the best.
Okay. The other question, just so I'm just want to clarify on when you go through your platform, this is back to the customization and kind of quality control, checking the product. Currently on Printify, I have my system set up that they're always on hold. So when a new order comes in, I at least take a look at it to make sure everything looks good before I release the hold or go ahead and send it out. Can you explain how that process would work now through the integration with your
same rules that you can set up in Printify would still take effect? So inside of my system, if you want to have an order on hold and be able to review it before it pushes over to Printify, you can just set your autofulfill here to no. Okay. The nice thing with that is you can pick and choose what orders you want put on hold. So if you're doing orders that aren't personalized, you can have those just automatically go through. And then if you're doing some that are personalized that you want to be able to review before they go over to Printify, you just set those products, set the autofulfill to no on those products.
Okay, so that's a real good benefit there, because currently you're either on or off with Printify, correct? And here you do it by product.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so I think that covers the majority of everything inside of our the artwork builder here. We didn't really touch on images. I'll hit that real quick. So if you have an image that you want the customer to be able to upload their own image for, you can set your images as a personalized option here as well. As you know, Etsy doesn't let the customer upload the image during checkout. So you will need to click that image from the customer. Most of the time, what people do is they will just go to their Etsy listing, and on the personalization here, just add a note with either your email address or with instructions to send it to you in an Etsy message after the order is placed. And then when that order imports, it'll go on hold, and it's just a matter of you then uploading that image and pushing it through. So I would eventually like to add, one of the things I want to be able to add for that is the option for you to be able to send the customer a link to be able to upload their image. So they would essentially get a link with a little preview of your product, and they would be able to upload the image themselves, and it would actually add it to the system without having to email it to you. So that's something down the road that I'm considering adding. we also store all of your files in a artwork library. So if you saw the one that I just did, I already had this image uploaded. So instead of re-uploading it, you can select it from your image library. So you now have the option when you upload an image on being able to use some of these buttons to go ahead and automatically position it for you. So let me shrink this down here so you can kind of see a little bit better. So if I just uploaded that image here and I want it horizontally centered or vertically centered, you can see these options will move that around. And then same with top, bottom, left, right. We got some of those options added. If you want it kind of maximized to fill the whole print area, you can hit this first button and it'll pop it back out to kind of cover the area. Okay, so I'll just run down through the list here. We kind of talked about mockups earlier. Also in here, I have a tag generator tool. So the way this works is you can search, it will search Etsy and pull in all of the tags for the top ranked 100 listings for your search term. So if I just come in here and do like funny dad camping mug and hit search here, it's searching Etsy right now and grabbing all the listings that are already performing well and grabbing those tags and then showing you how many times each one of those tags is used on the first page. And it also kind of tries to group them. So like, you know, it's not going to have father apostrophe S and fathers without the apostrophe and that type of thing. So it's counting those as one tag to kind of give you a better true number of how many times it's used. So this is a good way to be able to get some SEO done without having to go to another third-party tool and having to copy things back and forth. It can just all be set up right there for you, and you can just check off which ones you want to be able to add to your.
I think the tag generator function just will save people so much time.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have to type them in all yourself. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is great.
and money as well. So
Mhm.
Do you can you show us my favorite feature still though, Chris, is the country one. Can you show us that? Because I know I had issues trying to get to work. I want to see how you do it.
Yep, absolutely. Let me see before I get down. I think the only other thing on this page, which probably isn't as relevant to mugs, but we have a nice little pricing updater in here. So this will, if you're selling a product with multiple variants, this gives you an easy way to have pretty pricing without having to go through and edit each one individually. So I can come in here and say, I want to make a certain margin, either percent or dollar amount, and select how I want then that to be rounded up or down, because sometimes like on t-shirts, sizes are different prices. And then I can make the cents end in a certain amount. So if I always want it to end in zeros or 0.99 or 0.49, I can set that here so that I'm consistent pricing and it doesn't end in 23 cents or something that kind of looks funny. So not probably as big of a deal on mugs because you're not dealing with as many variants, but that's
even with mugs though, if you have it as a percent margin, as margins change, as prices go up, for example, it would automatically adjust.
It will not automatically adjust now. One of the things that I want to be able to add into here though is a way for you guys to easily update all of your pricing on Etsy. So if pricing does change, I'm not going to change that for you because I don't want things to change on your Etsy store without you having some sort of interaction with it, right? But you would be able to come in here and say, okay, 11-ounce mugs from District Photo, set all of my pricing on Etsy now to be $19.99. And however many listings you have connected, it would just automatically update all of them. So country suppliers. So one of the things that I did with this is being able to set country specific suppliers. So based on where the order is shipping to, the system can automatically change the supplier that's used. So if we look at this, we'll see under shipping info here, District Photo is pretty cheap when I'm just shipping to the US. But if I'm going to Australia, Canada, you can see here we're getting up over $10. So my thought was, wouldn't it be great if somebody is from Australia, if we can have the order shipped from a supplier in Australia, then instead of waiting 10 to 30 days to get the order, they're getting it within a week time frame after it ships. And they're saving on their shipping pricing. So instead of spending the $10 on shipping, they can save on that as well. So it really makes your listings look a lot more attractive to international buyers and helps to kind of open up that market to you. So to do that, all you need to do is come in here, click on the Add Country Supplier button. It's going to go ahead and drop you into the main category for that product. If for some reason you need to switch to a different category, like if you're going, men's and women's shirts, something like that, you can always change your category here. So you're essentially browsing the catalog now, but you're doing it for this additional supplier. So let me scroll down and find, there's one here. So we've got a couple of suppliers here. I can see, so one of the things I show you here are all the locations that the supplier has. For some reason, Printify doesn't show this information to you. So if you look this Harrier up in Printify, I think it only shows that they're shipping from Great Britain. So in here, we show both locations so you can have a better idea of what their pricing is going to look like. You can see here 11-ounce mugs are quite a bit cheaper from Czech Republic because they've got a supplier there, and also going to European countries is a little bit cheaper. And in particular here, UK is only $6.99 for shipping an 11-ounce mug. So what we can do is click on select supplier here and then scroll down, and then all we need to do is put in the countries that we want this supplier to ship from. So if we want, what do we say? Great Britain, and I think they had Czech Republic. And then the other cool thing you can do here is you can just select your European Union. So this will take all the countries that are under that European countries flag and put them. So if we come down here on mugs, in this case, since this is just a white mug, there's not any additional colors here that you need to select. Sometimes suppliers will, instead of calling it red, they're calling it a cardinal red or something like that. So this is where you can map those up. If it's not a direct match, you can set those, or on t-shirts, for example, sometimes people get clever with names and stuff like that. So that's making sure that your colors are matching correctly. Sizes, this is in particular, again, if you're selling t-shirts, some suppliers offer it in a 6X, some only go up to 3X. Leaving this checked ensures that if you have one supplier that doesn't offer the 6X, that we just remove that from your listing so that someone doesn't buy it and then it ends up they're getting the cheaper shipping, but you're having to ship it from the US. So it just eliminates those additional sizes that aren't available from all suppliers. So if we submit that and then scroll down here, now we'll see we've got our original default supplier here of District Photo, and then we've got our Harrier supplier for the 3 additional countries that we had selected. So the way this works.
Chris, I was gonna say for this one, Chris, can you add the Australia option too, another separate one?
Yeah, sure.
I saw that there was another option for that same carrier. So
Chris, before you go past this, where you were just clicking the if the items are out of stock, how will that affect if, for a lot of us in Printify, we have it set up, so let's say it's an extra large red t-shirt and whatever company we have is out of stock, we have it set in Printify so that it'll just go find another supplier automatically. If we click that, will that stop it from finding another supplier? It'll just reroute the order for us.
Are you talking this here, or what do you?
Yeah, well, you said remove size is not available, so because it'll just find
so if the option isn't there, Jody, it'll just default to what it was normally, and that's your US supplier. So it would be the regular shipping.
No, I'm not talking about the countries.
So this is saying if the supplier, not that they're out of stock, but that they don't even carry it. So like on t-shirts, some suppliers only go up to a 3X and some go up to a 6X. So if your default supplier goes up to a 6X, and then say I add a Great Britain supplier that only goes up to 3X, if you don't have this checked and somebody from Great Britain orders your 4, 5, or 6X, it's not going to be able to fulfill it from your Great Britain supplier. So this will remove that as being an option on your listing. So then you're only going to go up to this will only list variants that all suppliers carry all sizes, if that makes sense. Okay. So it'll eliminate, in some cases, eliminate that 4, 5, and 6X.
So that's just supplier specific for that customer who is living in that locale that is going to trigger the Harrier supplier, right?
Correct. Yes.
So let's do this. Chris, hit submit on that. And so let's say if you stay on the screen, you go down below where it shows the suppliers for the countries. So if this order goes through United States, it goes through your default supplier, right? If it order goes through Canada, for example, where you live, Leanne, it's still going to be your default supplier. But it will change if someone orders from the UK. Now it's going to be rerouted to the Harrier carrier, and it'll be that much cheaper and that much quicker to fulfill. If it goes through, let's say we have, Richard orders a mug through where he lives in New Zealand, or Sally in Australia, it'll go through the Prima printing and also be cheaper and different. So it will happen automatically in the back end. We don't have to do anything. So the only time it's going to change in this regard is if someone orders from the Czech Republic, UK, EU, Australia, or New Zealand. Otherwise, they'll go through your US supply. And this is all done in the back end. And so the only other difference, Chris, to understand, we talked last week, we started saying, that's really great, but now how do we make it so the customer gets the cheaper? And actually, the time too, they're like, oh, well, it's not going to take 30 days. It'll be 7 days, and it's going to be only $8 to ship or whatever.
Yep. Let me push this over to Etsy real quick. So we set all of that up automatically for you. So if I jump in and look at this listing, and I scroll down here to my shipping profiles and go to edit, you'll see here we got US standard 2 to 7, Australia. Normally that would have been more from our default supplier. Since we selected that other supplier, we're showing 2 to 7 days, and we're showing our cheaper shipping. So all that set up. So Canada, we didn't have a different supplier for that, so they're still going to see that 10 to 30 days. Czech Republic was one of them. So you can see here your shipping profiles are all automatically configured for you. So if you're moving it over any of your existing listings and you're setting this up, when you go and you import that order or that product from Printify, when you come in here and go to update listing, one of the options you have here that you can select is your shipping profile. So if you're setting up additional country suppliers, aside from making sure that you push over your new variants with your new SKUs, if you also check this, it will set up that shipping profile automatically for you, so you can take advantage of that cheaper shipping for any of your international customers.
That's fantastic.
I noticed like different mugs have the different prices. So the Harrier is pretty much the same cost as Printify, but the Prima printing is more. So is there a way? So if somebody orders from Australia or whatever, one of our white mugs, can we bump up the price of the mug, or is it just going to lower our profit margin? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's either going to lower your margin, or you're going to want to bump up that shipping profile just a little bit to be able to make up that difference.
Okay.
So like on this one here, I think this is the one we were just looking at. If I didn't want to eat the margin, but I still wanted the better delivery time, I could come in here. I think it was Australia. So I could come in here and bump up the shipping on that if I needed to be able to keep my margins where I need them.
Okay.
And also, Debbie, just like we do when we're choosing a print, like whether it's whoever we're using, district photo, whatever, you can go through the list and find the ones that you like that have the best prices if they're in that country, and just.
Yep. And this whole feature is going to work as I add additional suppliers. So we talked a little bit about that at the beginning, to be able to diversify your kind of print on demand supply chain. So as I'm looking at new suppliers, I'm not just looking at US suppliers. I'd like to add some additional options for international suppliers so that this becomes even more powerful. So kind of looking at expanding in all those areas to make it powerful now, but then also powerful in the future. Like I said, if somebody raises a price, their quality goes to hell, they're backed up. You look at Christmas time, if it's, November 20th and you got orders rolling in, and all of a sudden the supplier is behind by 2 weeks, and you've got another supplier that can take on the orders and is still shipping fast. Right now, there's not an easy way to move that. With this, you could be in the middle of the holiday season, click one button, and all your orders are now going to a new supplier, and you're kind of diversifying where those are.
And I want to respect Chris's time, so let's just make sure last call for questions, because we're an hour and a half in. Yeah.
So let's get Linda real quick. If we can't join the beta team right now, what kind of price is it going to be down the road? I don't know. Do you know that yet?
I guess it depends on how far down the road we're talking. So, joining the beta team right now is free. So, if at the end of that 1 month trial, you decide that, you're just not willing to commit to ongoing, you can always cancel. If you do, I would love to hear the reason why you decided to cancel or any of that type of information, obviously. But there is by no means any kind of ongoing commitment if you sign up using that code that Dave put into the chat. So that gives you your first month completely free. So you don't need to worry about it. Going forward, I'm not sure where. I'm sure I will end up with multiple different pricing tiers and things of that nature. When that'll come into play, I'm not 100% sure yet. But for right now, it is unlimited orders, unlimited suppliers, unlimited products, unlimited personalizations at that $29 a month price. So,
and is that going to be grandfathered over as price increases? They stay on the lower cost.
Yes, I plan to leave you on that lower cost. The only time I would consider even changing that is if I add in something big that's a completely new feature that has a lot of usage fees to it that's going to gobble up a whole bunch, like I don't know, something like Chat GPT, which I've looked at, which even that pricing I would probably I would do everything that I can to keep you guys at that price. The features that you have now with what's listed there will be that price grandfathered in forever. Yes.
So looking ahead to this free month, my plan is to do some sample orders. And,
Okay.
Being that I'm in Canada, I'm going to pick a Canadian product so I can look at how the rerouting happens. But in order to place a test order, do we go to orders here and anywhere POD?
So what you'll do is go to your product catalog. And so here on this product, you see I've got this added cart here at the top.
Oh,
you can click that, or it's also on this list here in your My Products list over here on the right. There's a little added cart button.
And so what is the orders category above? Does that just list whatever personalized orders have been placed through your
This will show all orders that have been added to your account. So if you're doing a manual order, it'll show up here. Any order that imports from your Etsy account will show up here. So this will show all of it. And actually, while we're talking about manual orders, one thing I didn't mention that I think is a really nice to have is if you do need to place a manual order. Let me go to my card here. You can see here at the top, we have this optional option here for where you can enter the actual Etsy order number from Etsy. The benefit here is so you've gotten an order from Etsy, but for some reason you're needing to place a manual order for that product for one reason or another. If you put the Etsy order number here, it'll automatically push that tracking number over to Etsy for you. So some of you guys may know in the past, like when you're doing stuff with Icon Ecom, if you did a manual order, you would have to wait for that tracking to come in and manually copy it over. In this case, it'll take care of the tracking number submission for you automatically. So you don't have to worry about trying to keep an eye. No, I think that's everything. Again, I appreciate everybody's time. You guys should have emails. You can contact me down here. If you have any questions at all, the only stupid question is the one that you already know the answer to. So feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, I can jump on a call with you if we need to get things rolling and help get you set up. Whatever we need to do to keep things rolling for you guys. So feel free now when I'm, this is newer, so I'm not completely swamped with everybody yet. So jump in there now if you need some of my time. I have a little bit more available than I'm going to in the coming days and weeks, hopefully. So feel free to reach out.
Hey, Chris, we definitely appreciate your time, especially going as long as we did today. I mean, you did a lot of stuff and answered a lot of questions. So I definitely appreciate that. And we look forward to spreading this with a lot of people. And are you okay with me pushing this to the rest of the students with the code?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Go for it.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll send it out. And if you guys, if you have other people you work with and that this would help them out,
feel free to share it as well, because it's not going to help them out, but it'll help Chris out getting this going. And yeah, take advantage while he has this time, because he probably won't have that much time as we continue to push this out, as he gets more and more people in this.
So I hope you enjoy that. Chris did an amazing job of showing the initial features that he has. Now get this was the first training that we did with him. A week later, we gave him suggestions of how we can make this tool better, and he made it better inside that week. So my next video here, I'm gonna point you to that video where you can actually watch it and see the enhancements that he made and how he continues to make this better and better. In fact, as you're seeing this, it's probably, he already has more things. But I'm gonna keep out putting out videos that's gonna show you the tools that we have access to. So make sure you get this soon, because I'll tell you right now, as he continues to make this software better and better, it's gonna go up in price. So lock in to get the 7-day trial that you have right now. And if you're watching this soon enough, you can use that coupon code that I have below in the description. Hopefully you can still get those 30 days initial free as a beta tester. And then anything that you have suggestion-wise, any bugs you're seeing, you can send it over to Chris in the support email that I put in the description. All right, so enjoy, make sure you're clicking on that, grab it, start. It's gonna be not only a game changer, but it's gonna save you time when you are submitting, especially personalized orders. That was incredible, right? And of course, as always, please like my video. It really helps to get this content out to other people, and subscribe and hit that bell notification, because then whenever I put out my videos, you'll get notified right away that I have a new video. So anyway, enjoy, and I look forward to catching you in the next training. All right, take care.